So I wanted to take you guys on a tour of the garden to show you the progress of the cassava that I started from nodes and the cassava that I started from cuttings. So when I say starting from a node, I mean when I planted it, it was just this part right here. So just one section of the plant where the leaves bud out and a new branch would form here. But that's it. That's the only part. So like an inch or 2 inch long section of the plant versus a cutting, which is like a foot long section of the stem, which you jam into the ground, and then it forms roots underneath and plants above, or leaves above. You can see the difference in the look from the previous video, which showed the cutting that is about a foot long versus this one, which was started by a node, and there's all green stem coming up from the ground and no brown stem. Well, that one's starting to form a little bit of a brown stem at the base, but it was not a cutting of the cassava plant. It was just that inch long section from the mother plant. So this is an example of a cassava that I started from a node, and it is only about 3 feet tall, and it's got a nice bush shape, but let me show you some other ones. Here's another one that I started from a node, and this one is about 6 feet tall. Here is a cassava that I started from a node. It's only about, 2 feet tall. Next to one that I started from cutting that is about 6 feet tall. Directly adjacent to each other, similar light, similar soil types, and you can see the obvious difference. Here's another one that I started from a node. This one is about 5 feet tall, maybe 6 feet tall on that second half right there. So this one's doing okay, but let me show you the cutting section. So here you can see these are all from cuttings, and they are all 6-7 feet tall, and they've been in the ground since March, so that's about 4 months now. So 4 months growth, about 6 or 7 feet tall. Last year my tallest one got to be about 10 or 11 feet before the hurricanes. So this is what I'm seeing so far. I did pull one cassava that I pulled from, or started from a node, and it was starting to form tubers, but it was clearly not doing so well. It was only about 3 feet tall. The tubers were pencil thin, whereas I guarantee you, I start digging down on these, the tubers are already going to be forming, and they're probably already an inch or so thick. They're very, very healthy, and they just have a lot more vigor when they start from cuttings, I think. If I was farming these, if I was a little bit more intensive, maybe I could get some better early stage growth, which would set them off on the right track, but I just didn't have that time this year. And the ones that I did from cuttings and the ones that I did from nodes, they got equal treatment, and you can clearly tell who is going to be the winner this year. As I'm standing here talking, I see a little froggy hanging out up there. Oh, there. These cassava provide such an incredible dense canopy, and you could consider them like an early stage food forest. So back here I have them against the back fence of my property, and they're providing a wall and you can't see through them. It's a screen of just dense vegetation, and it is beautiful. I say it is probably one of the most beautiful plants that I have on the property. It just has such a beautiful tropical look, and I mean, just look at it in the dusk. It just has a sheen on the leaves, and when the leaves are wet, they just glisten. And there's lots of weed suppression. There's some weeds here, some Biden's elbow on the edge, but there is hardly anything in the understory. Some sweet potatoes down there on the ground, but that's it. So they're really good weed suppression, really good, privacy screens, and they provide like 15 pounds of roots per plant to harvest at the end of the year. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Please visit permisolutions.com. That's PERMIE solutions.com to support the channel.